The rain pounded against the stained glass windows of St. Mary's Church in suburban Chicago, but inside, the air was thick with silence, broken only by the soft sobs of a single mourner. Jade sat alone in the front pew, her hands clasped tightly around a crumpled tissue, staring at the polished oak casket that held her grandmother, Eleanor. No aunts, no uncles, no cousins, not even her own parents, had bothered to come. They had all turned their backs years ago when Jade came out as gay, and now in death, Eleanor was paying the price for loving her granddaughter unconditionally. Jade's mind raced back to that fateful family dinner 5 years earlier, the one where she had gathered the courage to introduce Jasmine as her girlfriend. The table had erupted in chaos, her father slamming his fist, calling it a phase, her mother weeping about eternal damnation, and her siblings averting their eyes as if Jade had become invisible. "You're choosing sin over family," her father had bellowed, his face red with rage. But Eleanor, frail yet fierce at 82, had stood up, her voice steady. "Love is love, and if you can't see that, you're the ones lost." From that day the family fractured. Jade and Jasmine built a life together in the city, while the others clung to their prejudices, whispering about the disgrace behind closed doors. Now, with Eleanor gone, Jade felt the weight of isolation crushing her chest. Why did I ever hope they'd change? She thought, her inner turmoil bubbling like a storm. Was it naive to believe that death could mend what hate had broken? As the priest droned on about eternal peace, Jade's phone buzzed in her pocket, a text from her lawyer, Mr. Harlan. "The will reading is tomorrow. Be prepared. It's going to stir things up." She shoved the phone away, focusing on the eulogy she had prepared, words that poured out her gratitude for the woman who had secretly funded Jade's college tuition after her parents cut her off, who had sent care packages filled with homemade cookies and notes of encouragement during the lonely holidays. But as she stood at the podium, her voice cracking, the empty seats mocked her. This isn't just about me, she realized. It's about what they've done to her memory. The service ended with Jade placing a single white rose on the casket, whispering, "I'll make them see, Grandma. I promise." The next morning, Jade arrived at the Harlan and Associates office in downtown Chicago, her heart pounding. Jasmine had offered to come, but Jade insisted on facing this alone, partly out of stubborn pride, partly because she didn't want to subject her partner to more family venom. The conference room was stark, with a long mahogany table and walls lined with legal tomes. Mr. Harlan, a balding man in his 60s with kind eyes, greeted her warmly. "Jade, I'm sorry for your loss. Eleanor was a remarkable woman." As they settled in, the door opened and in walked her family, her parents Mark and Linda, her brother Tyler and her sister Brooke. They froze upon seeing Jade, the air thickening with unspoken accusations. "What are you doing here?" Mark snarled, his face contorted in surprise. Linda clutched her purse, avoiding eye contact, while Tyler and Brooke shifted uncomfortably. Mr. Harlan cleared his throat. "Eleanor specified that all beneficiaries must be present. Please take your seats." Jade's stomach twisted. She hadn't expected this ambush. Why would Grandma do this? Force us together like animals in a cage? As the reading began, the room fell silent. Eleanor had left small bequests to charities, but the bulk of her estate, the family home in Oak Park, worth over $1 million, stocks, and savings totaling another $2 million, was to be divided equally among her grandchildren, with one caveat. Jade would serve as the executor, and the family must attend a series of mediated sessions to reconcile differences before any distribution. The eruption was immediate. "This is outrageous," Mark shouted, pounding the table. "She can't force us to pretend everything's fine with her lifestyle." Linda nodded vigorously, tears streaming. "Mom was manipulated in her old age. Jade probably coerced her." Tyler, ever the opportunist, chimed in. "Yeah, why should we have to jump through hoops? Just split it now." Brooke remained silent, her eyes darting to Jade with a mix of guilt and resentment. Jade sat there, stunned, her mind reeling. They didn't come for the funeral, but they'll fight for the money. The hypocrisy burned like acid. "Grandma wanted healing," she said quietly, her voice steady despite the tremor inside. She believed in second chances. "But if you contest this, you'll get nothing. That's in the will too." The first mediation session was scheduled for the following week at a neutral counseling center. Jade arrived early, her nerves frayed. Jasmine had kissed her goodbye that morning, whispering, "You're stronger than them. Remember that." But as Jade paced the waiting room, doubts crept in. What if this destroys me? What if I can't forgive? The family filed in, tense and hostile. The mediator, Dr. Ellis, a middle-aged woman with a calm demeanor, explained the rules. Open dialogue, no interruptions, focus on feelings. Mark started, his words laced with bitterness. Eleanor's will is a joke. Jade's choices tore this family apart. We raised her right, but she threw it away for this abnormality. Jade felt a surge of anger, but she held back, her inner voice screaming. Abnormality? That's what you call my love? Linda piled on. We prayed for you, Jade. Every night. But you chose Jasmine over us. The name hung in the air like a curse. Tyler smirked. Yeah, and now we're supposed to act like it's normal? For money. Brooke finally spoke, her voice soft. I miss you, Jade. But it's hard. The church are friends. Jade's heart ached. Brooke had been her closest sibling once. You all abandoned Grandma too, Jade countered, her words sharp. She died alone because of your hate. Is that the price of your principles? The session devolved into accusations, Mark blaming Jade for Eleanor's decline, Linda recounting Bible verses, Tyler demanding an immediate payout. Dr. Ellis intervened, assigning homework, each to write a letter about their regrets. As they left, Jade lingered, tears welling. This isn't reconciliation. It's war. But deep down, she wondered if Grandma had seen something she couldn't. A sliver of hope amid the ruins. Back home, Jasmine wrapped her in a hug. How bad was it? Jade recounted the session, her voice breaking. They act like I'm the villain. But I won't let them win. Jasmine nodded, her eyes fierce. You're fighting for more than money. For us. That night, Jade wrote her letter, pouring out years of pain. The rejection, the loneliness, the strength she'd found in love. Yet, as she sealed it, doubt nagged. Am I ready to face their truths, or will it shatter me further? The second mediation session loomed like a gathering storm, and Jade braced herself as she entered the counseling center. The family was already there, seated in a circle of uncomfortable chairs, the air heavy with unresolved tension. Dr. Ellis began by collecting the letters, shuffling them anonymously before reading excerpts aloud. Mark's letter dripped with conditional remorse. I regret the distance, but I can't condone sin. Linda's echoed similar sentiments, laced with pleas for Jade to come back to God. Tyler's was blunt. Sorry for the drama, but let's just get the inheritance and move on. Brooks, however, struck a chord. I regret not standing up for you. I was scared of losing everyone else. When Dr. Ellis read Jade's letter, the room fell pin-drop silent. I regret believing your love was unconditional. You taught me family means acceptance, but when I needed it most, you vanished. Grandma saw me for who I am. Why couldn't you? Mark's face hardened, but Linda dabbed at her eyes. Tyler rolled his, muttering under his breath. Brooke reached out tentatively, but Jade pulled back, her inner turmoil raging. They're sorry for the inconvenience, not for the hurt. How can words fix a lifetime of erasure? The discussion ignited. Your letter accuses us. Mark exploded. We didn't abandon you. You left us. Jade leaned forward, her voice rising. I left? You disinvited me from holidays, ignored my calls, pretended I didn't exist. Linda interjected. Because it hurts to see you like this. Jasmine. She's leading you astray. The name again weaponized. Jade's fists clenched. Jasmine is my partner, my support. She's more family than you've been. Tyler sneered. Great, so now we're competing with her for the will? Brooke tried to mediate. Guys, maybe we can try understanding. But the room descended into chaos, voices overlapping in a cacophony of blame. Dr. Ellis called a break and Jade stepped outside, gulping fresh air. Her phone rang. Jasmine. Babe, you okay? Jade sighed. It's like talking to walls. But Brooke. She might be cracking. Jasmine's voice softened. That's progress. Don't give up yet. Hanging up, Jade pondered. Is progress worth the pain? Or am I just reopening wounds? Returning, the session shifted to personal stories. Mark shared his upbringing in a strict religious home. How deviation meant damnation. I thought I was protecting you, he admitted gruffly. Linda confessed her fear of community judgment. Tyler revealed his own struggles with debt, eyeing the inheritance greedily. Brooke opened up about her secret doubts, whispering, "I've questioned things too." Jade listened, her heart softening against her will. "They're human, flawed like me. But does that excuse the damage?" When her turn came, she spoke of the isolation, the therapy sessions to heal from rejection, the joy she found with Jasmine despite it all. "Love isn't a choice, it's who I am." Grandma understood that. The session ended on a fragile note, with assignments to reflect on each other's pain. As they dispersed, Brooke approached Jade hesitantly. "Can we talk sometime? Alone?" Jade nodded, surprised. Maybe there's a bridge here after all. Days blurred into tension as Jade prepared for the third session. At home, she and Jasmine discussed strategies over dinner. "Don't let them manipulate you," Jasmine warned, her hand squeezing Jade's. "Tyler's after the money, but your parents. It's deeper." Jade nodded, but inside conflict brewed. What if forgiving them means betraying myself? The night before, she couldn't sleep, replaying memories, childhood Christmases, family vacations, now tainted by betrayal. The third session opened with role-playing exercises, forcing each to voice the other's perspective. Mark as Jade. "I feel unseen, unloved." His delivery was stiff, but the words hung heavy. Jade as her father. "I'm scared of losing my daughter to something I don't understand." Saying it aloud cracked something in her. Empathy, unwanted but real. Linda broke down during her turn, sobbing, "I miss my girl." Tyler grumbled through his, but Brooke shone, articulating Jade's pain with raw honesty. Accusations flew anew, Jade confronting Tyler about his opportunistic greed, him retorting about her privileged victimhood. "You got Grandma's favoritism," he spat. Mark defended his son, but Linda hushed him, a small shift. Dr. Ellis probed deeper. "What are you willing to sacrifice for reconciliation?" Silence fell. Jade thought of Grandma's will. Not just money but a mandate for change. "I'm willing to listen," she said finally, "but not to erase who I am." Mark grumbled agreement. Linda nodded tearfully, Tyler shrugged. Brooke smiled faintly. Post-session, Brooke texted Jade. "Coffee tomorrow?" Neutral ground. Jade agreed, curiosity overriding caution. They met at a bustling cafe in Wrigleyville, the aroma of fresh brews masking their awkwardness. "I didn't know how bad it was for you," Brooke admitted over lattes. "After you left, Mom and Dad doubled down on church stuff. Tyler's in financial trouble. Gambling." Jade's eyes widened. "And you?" Brooke hesitated. "I've been seeing someone. A woman, secretly. I'm scared." The revelation hit Jade like a wave. "My sister's like me? Hiding in plain sight? Why didn't you say?" Jade whispered. Brooke's eyes filled. "Fear. But Grandma's death. It woke me up." Their conversation stretched hours, unearthing shared pains, forging a tentative bond. Jade felt a spark of hope, but wariness lingered. Is this real or a ploy? Returning home, she confided in Jasmine, who listened thoughtfully. "Be careful. But if it's genuine, it could change everything." That night, Jade dreamed of Grandma, smiling approvingly. Perhaps this is the reckoning she intended. As the fourth session approached, family dynamics shifted subtly. Mark called Jade unexpectedly, his voice gruff. "I read your letter again. Made me think." It was a crack in his armor, but Jade remained guarded. "What price will this exact from all of us?" The fourth mediation session crackled with anticipation, the circle of chairs now feeling less like a battlefield and more like a confessional. Dr. Ellis sensed the shift, starting with affirmations, small acknowledgments of progress. Mark surprised everyone by speaking first. "I've been wrong to judge so harshly. The Bible says love thy neighbor. Maybe that includes family too." His words were halting but sincere, born from sleepless nights wrestling with doctrine versus daughter. Linda nodded, adding, "I want my family back. All of it." Tyler, however, crossed his arms defiantly. "This is all nice, but when do we get the money? I've got bills." Jade's inner voice churned. Progress from some but greed from others. "How do I navigate this minefield?" Brooke shot Tyler a glare, her newfound courage evident. "This isn't about cash, Ty. It's about fixing what we broke." The discussion delved into societal pressures, the conservative suburb where they grew up, the church's unyielding stance on homosexuality, the whispers from neighbors that fueled their isolation. We were afraid of being ostracized, Linda confessed. But in protecting our image, we lost you. Jade felt a pang. Their fear mirrored her own past insecurities. I was terrified to come out, she admitted. Afraid of exactly this. But hiding would have killed me inside. Tensions peaked when Tyler exploded. Easy for you to say. You've got your perfect life with Jasmine while I'm drowning in debt. Grandma should have just left it equal, no strings. Mark reprimanded him sharply, a first. Enough, son. This is bigger than money. Brooke backed Jade. Ty, your problems aren't Jade's fault. Own up. The room polarized, with Tyler storming out briefly, only to return sulking. Dr. Ellis facilitated a breakthrough exercise, listing what each would lose without reconciliation. Jade wrote, My roots, my history. Mark, my daughter. Linda, peace. Brooke, my sister. Tyler grudgingly, family support. As the session wrapped, assignments focused on actionable steps, Mark and Linda to attend a PFLAG meeting, Tyler to seek financial counseling, Brooke and Jade to spend time together. Jade left feeling cautiously optimistic, but doubt whispered, what if it's all performative? That evening, she and Jasmine attended a quiet dinner debriefing. Your dad's words. Think he means it? Jasmine asked. Jade shrugged. Maybe. But Tyler's a wild card. Jasmine squeezed her hand. You've got me no matter what. The PFLAG meeting was a turning point for Mark and Linda. Held in a community center in Evanston, it featured stories from parents like them. Initial rejection, eventual acceptance. Mark sat rigid at first, but a father's tale of losing his son to suicide over unacceptance shook him. Linda wept openly, clutching Mark's arm. Afterward, they called Jade together. We saw ourselves there, Linda said softly. We're sorry, truly, Mark added. It won't change overnight, but we're trying. Jade's heart thawed slightly. Is this the start of redemption or too little too late? Meanwhile, Brooke and Jade's bond strengthened. They met for walks in Lincoln Park, sharing secrets. Brooke confessed her relationship with a colleague, Sarah, and the terror of coming out. How did you do it? She asked. Jade reflected. One step at a time with Jasmine's support. But it cost me everything, until now maybe. Brooke's vulnerability mirrored Jade's past, forging solidarity. Yet, Tyler's resentment festered. He texted Jade privately. This is bullshit. You're manipulating them for the whole estate. Jade ignored it, but unease grew. He's plotting something. The fifth and final session arrived, the air electric with stakes. Dr. Ellis reviewed progress, but Tyler derailed it immediately. I've hired a lawyer. The will's coercive, we can contest it. Gasps echoed. Mark's face fell. Tyler, no. Linda pleaded. We've come so far. Brooke turned on him. You're ruining this for everyone. Jade felt betrayal stab deep. After all this, greed wins? Go ahead, she said calmly, masking her fury. But Grandma anticipated that. Contesting voids your share entirely. Chaos ensued. Tyler accusing Jade of favoritism, Mark disowning his son's actions verbally, Linda in hysterics. Dr. Ellis struggled to regain control, but the damage was done. Tyler stormed out for good, vowing legal war. The remaining family sat shell-shocked. Brooke hugged Jade. I'm with you. Mark sighed heavily. He's always been impulsive. We'll handle him. Linda reached for Jade's hand. Please don't let this end us. In the aftermath, Jade met with Mr. Harlan. Tyler's contesting, but the will's ironclad. He'll lose. Jade nodded, but victory felt hollow. The price? A brother estranged forever? At home, Jasmine held her as she cried. You did what Grandma wanted, forced the truth out. But Jade wondered, at what cost to my soul? Weeks passed, the estate in limbo as Tyler's challenge dragged on. Mark and Linda visited Jade and Jasmine for the first time. Awkward but earnest. Over coffee, Mark asked about their life together. How did you meet? Jasmine shared warmly, and surprisingly laughter followed. Brooke came out to the family with Jade's support, met with tentative acceptance. Tyler, isolated, eventually dropped the suit, but the rift remained. Jade stood at Eleanor's grave one sunny afternoon reflecting. Grandma, your will didn't just divide assets. It divided hearts, forcing growth. But was the pain worth it? With Tyler's legal threat averted, the family tiptoed into uncharted territory. Attempts at normalcy amid lingering scars. Mark and Linda invited Jade and Jasmine to a subdued dinner at the old family home in Oak Park. The place steeped in memories both sweet and sour. Jade hesitated, her mind flashing to past rejections. Do I risk more hurt for a chance at healing? Jasmine encouraged her. One step. We can leave if it goes south. They arrived to find the table set with Eleanor's favorite china. A gesture that tugged at Jade's heart. The evening started stiffly, small talk about weather, jobs. Mark cleared his throat. Jade, Jasmine. We're glad you're here. Linda served lasagna, her hands trembling. I made your favorite from Mom's recipe. Brooke arrived late, bringing Sarah, her girlfriend, introducing her boldly. This is who I am. Mark nodded awkwardly. Linda smiled faintly. No explosions, but tension simmered. Over dessert, conversation turned deeper. I've been reading, Mark admitted. Books on understanding LGBTQ issues. It's eye-opening. Jade's surprise was genuine. What changed? He glanced at Linda. Losing Mom, almost losing you. The PFLG stories hit home. Jasmine contributed gracefully, sharing her own family's acceptance. It wasn't easy for them either, but love won. Brooke beamed, Sarah squeezing her hand. But absences loomed. Tyler's empty chair a silent accusation. Where's Ty? Jade asked. Mark sighed. He's angry staying with friends. Says we're traitors. Linda's eyes misted. He'll come around. Jade doubted it, her inner conflict raging. Forgiveness for some, but what about the unrepentant? The night ended with hugs, tentative but real. Driving home, Jade whispered to Jasmine. It felt possible. Yet societal shadows persisted. At work, Jade overheard colleagues gossiping about those families, the ones fractured by choices. It stung, reminding her of broader battles. Jasmine faced similar at her job, a marketing firm where subtle biases lurked. We can't change the world overnight, she said one evening as they cuddled on the couch. But we're changing ours. Jade nodded, but worry gnawed. What if the family's change is superficial? What price will regression exact? Brooke's coming out rippled outward. She confided in Jade about confrontations with friends, the loss of some relationships. It hurts, but I'm free. Jade admired her sister's resolve, mentoring her through the turmoil. Together they attended Pride events discreetly, building courage. Mark and Linda joined a support group, sharing their journey anonymously. Progress, piecemeal but profound. Tyler's resentment boiled over in a heated phone call to Jade. You turned them against me. All for your agenda. Jade retorted. No, Ty. Your greed did that. He hung up, but days later, he showed up at the house unannounced. Mark answered, leading to a shouting match in the driveway. You're choosing her over your son. Tyler yelled. Mark stood firm. I'm choosing family, all of it. Get help or stay away. Linda watched from the window, torn. Brooke texted Jade. It's bad. Ty's spiraling. Jade felt guilt creep in. Did the will push him over the edge? She met Tyler at a neutral park bench, against Jasmine's advice. Why fight? She asked. He glared. Because you got everything, Grandma's love, now the money. I got nothing. Jade saw the pain beneath his anger, years of feeling overshadowed. We can share equally as planned. But you have to participate. He scoffed. In your therapy circus? No thanks. He left, leaving Jade questioning. Is exclusion the answer or another form of hate? The estate distribution neared, Mr. Harlan confirming compliance. But emotional ledgers remained unbalanced. At a final family gathering minus Tyler, they signed papers. Mark handed Jade a check, but more importantly, an apology letter. We're proud of you, it read. Linda hugged Jasmine. Brooke announced plans to move in with Sarah. Jade felt a mix of triumph and sorrow. Grandma's legacy. Unity for most, division for one. Months later, life stabilized. Jade and Jasmine hosted holidays, the family attending cautiously. Mark debated theology with open-minded friends. Linda volunteered at LGBTQ youth centers. Brooke thrived openly. Tyler lurked on the periphery. Occasional bitter texts his only contact. Jade pondered the trade-offs, the pain of confrontation yielding growth, but at the cost of a brother's alienation. One evening, as snow fell outside their Chicago apartment, Jade and Jasmine reflected. "Do you regret any of it?" Jasmine asked. Jade shook her head. It hurt, but it healed too. Yet, in quiet moments, she wondered about the moral ambiguities. Was forcing change ethical or manipulative? As spring bloomed in Chicago, the fractures in the family began to mend in unexpected ways, though the scars remained etched deep. Jade found herself navigating a new normal. Phone calls with her parents that didn't end in arguments, shared meals where laughter outweighed awkward silences. Mark even asked to meet Jasmine's parents, a gesture that bridged worlds. "We're all learning," he said over brunch one Sunday, his voice carrying a humility Jade never thought possible. Linda gifted them a quilt sheet sewn, patterns symbolizing unity. Brooke and Sarah became fixtures, their presence normalizing what once was taboo. But Tyler's absence cast a long shadow. He had moved to a dingy apartment in the suburbs, scraping by with odd jobs, his pride preventing reconciliation. Jade reached out via text. "Doors open when you're ready." His reply. "Don't need your pity." The rejection stung, fueling Jade's internal debate. Did I win the family back or just redraw the lines of exclusion? Jasmine reassured her. "He chose this path. You offered olive branches." Still, guilt lingered, a constant companion. Societal pressures tested their fragile peace. At a church event Linda invited them to, hoping for inclusion, a pastor's sermon veered into anti-LGBT rhetoric. Mark stood abruptly. "This isn't right," he muttered, ushering them out. Outside, he apologized profusely. "I see now how toxic it was." The incident sparked deeper conversations, Mark questioning his faith's rigidities. "Maybe God's love is bigger than I thought." Jade marveled at the transformation but wondered, how many more battles before true acceptance? Brooke faced her own trials, workplace discrimination after coming out, friends drifting away. She leaned on Jade, their bond unbreakable. "You paved the way," Brooke said during a late-night call. "But it still hurts." Jade empathized, sharing her strategies for resilience. Together, they volunteered at a local LGBTQ center, channeling pain into purpose. Jasmine joined, her optimism infectious. "We're building something better." The estate fully distributed, Jade used her share to fund a scholarship in Eleanor's name for LGBTQ youth disowned by families. Mark and Linda contributed, a symbolic atonement. At the launch event, Mark spoke haltingly. "My mothers will taught us that love demands sacrifice. We almost lost everything." Applause followed, but Jade's mind wandered to Tyler. She mailed him an invitation. It returned unopened. One rainy afternoon, Tyler appeared at Jade's door, soaked and defeated. "I need help," he admitted, voice breaking. Bankruptcy loomed. Isolation crushed him. Jade let him in, Jasmine brewing coffee silently. "Why now?" Jade asked. Tyler slumped. Saw the scholarship news. Realized Grandma was right. "You're the strong one." Tears flowed as he confessed his jealousies, his fears of inadequacy. "I blamed you instead of fixing myself." Jade listened, her heart torn between compassion and caution. Forgiveness isn't easy. It's a choice with consequences. They talked for hours, unearthing buried resentments. Tyler apologized for the lawsuit, for his words. "I was wrong about you and Jasmine." Jade nodded. Apology accepted, but trust rebuilds slowly. He agreed to counseling, Mark and Linda joining later for a mediated reunion. Emotions ran high. Accusations revisited, tears shed, hugs exchanged tentatively. Tyler's turnaround felt genuine, born from rock bottom. In the ensuing months, the family coalesced, holidays fuller, conversations deeper. Jade and Jasmine married in a small ceremony, the family attending. Mark walking Jade down the aisle, Linda beaming. Brooke is maid of honor. Tyler clapping awkwardly but present. Eleanor's portrait overlooked, a silent guardian. Yet perfection eluded. Slips occurred, old prejudices surfacing in heated moments, requiring patience. Jade reflected often. The will was a catalyst, but change came from within. The costs, years lost, hearts broken, were steep. Was it worth it? As Jade stood on her balcony one evening, watching the city lights, she pondered the ethical maze. Grandma's manipulation sparked awakening. But at what moral price? Forced confrontations yielded growth, yet bred initial deeper wounds. In the end, the family emerged stronger, but the journey raised questions. Was it right to use inheritance as leverage for change? Or does true reconciliation demand free will?